If it's your main objective to improve your aerobic capacity, go ahead and do it before. If it's your main objective to improve your speed, strength, power, and also increase your muscle mass, then your weight training should come first, and you should finish off with your cardio session because your cardio is... Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to be debunking the myth that you need to warm up with cardio prior to doing your workout. But before I start, you guys know the drill. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, ding ding ding. And if you don't want to watch the entire video, I will be including timestamps in the description so you can skip ahead to the section that you want. Now onto the topic at hand. The myth that you need to warm up with cardio prior to your workout is something that most people believe, and it is readily apparent that most people believe it by stepping foot into any gym. Just go ahead, step into any big box commercial gym, and you will see hundreds of members warming up with cardio prior to their workout by doing things like running on the treadmill, riding a stationary bike, or doing the elliptical. And the truth is, this is not an effective way to warm up your muscles. Now, at this point, you may be thinking, well, if cardio is not an effective way to warm up, what exactly is? And in order to answer that question, we first have to ask ourselves, what exactly is the purpose of a warm-up? Well, basically, the purpose of a warm-up is to prepare your body for the exercises that are about to come. So by doing something like running on the treadmill prior to a weight training session, the treadmill is not preparing your body for lifting that weight. So it is very ineffective, and you would be much better off doing the cardio after your workout as opposed to doing it before. Now, that's not to say that you should never warm up with cardio prior to doing any type of activities, but I'm going to get into when you should be doing cardio first at the end of this video. But first, I want to focus on why exactly you should not be doing cardio prior to your weight training session. Now, one of the reasons why you should not be doing cardio prior to your weight training session is that it is going to make your weight training session much more less effective, because when you do your cardio, you are going to have lower levels of energy because you've already exerted yourself from the cardio. So by doing cardio prior to your weight training session is going to be less effective, and also your muscles are going to be more fatigued, which will again make your weight training session less effective. So if you're not supposed to do cardio prior to your weight training session, how exactly should you warm up? And the answer is simple. Your warm-up should be task specific. So whatever activities you are doing throughout your workout, you want to try and mimic those movements in your warm-up. And a few ways that you can do this, one is going to be joint mobilizations. So whatever type of activity are you doing, let's say you are doing a lower body workout, you would want to do joint mobilizations for all the joints in the lower body. That way you could help to prepare those joints for the workout. And one of the great things about doing mobilizations prior to your weight training is when you do mobilizations, that is going to build up the synovial fluid in the joints, and the synovial fluid, you can think of it as a lubrication for your joints. So the more synovial fluid you have circulating around your joints, the easier your joints are going to move, and you won't get all these little pains. So if you are somebody that has joint issues, mobilizations would be a terrific way to warm your body up prior to your weight training session. Aside from doing mobilizations, another way that you can warm up your body that is going to be much more effective than doing cardio is going to be to perform the exercise that you are doing for your actual workout at a lower intensity. Let's say you are doing a squat, and you are doing a squat at 75% intensity. That is 75% of your one repetition maximum. Well, in order to warm up for that, what you can do is one set at 40% intensity, one set at 60% intensity, and then you can go right into your working sets of 75%. Basically, with this strategy, you have warm-up sets and working sets. Your warm-up sets are all the sets that you do prior to using the actual intensity and weight that you will be using for the duration of your entire working sets. And those are the sets that are actually going to count towards your program. By warming up this way, your body is going to be much better prepared for the actual exercise you are doing because you have already done that exercise at a lower intensity. So when it gets time to work at the intensity that you're going to be training with for the actual workout, your body has already been primed. Now, again, this is not to say that you should never do cardio prior to your weight training, but it really depends on your goal. What is your goal? There's this saying, it is called first things first, and I love that saying, and it applies to this because what your goal is, that should come first. If it is your main objective to increase your aerobic endurance and improve your fat loss, then it may be beneficial in that instance to do your cardio prior to doing your weight training. However, if it is your main objective to increase your strength, speed, power, and improve your muscle mass, then weight training should come first because first things first. And then at the end of your weight training, that is when you should do your cardio session because it's going to be much more effective that way. Plus, when you do your weight training session, you're going to deplete your muscle of all all your glycogen stores. And because you're depleting your muscle of all your glycogen, when you run on the treadmill, your body has to burn fat as opposed to glucose, which is going to be much better if it is your objective to burn fat. And let's say you don't really have a specific goal. You don't really care about improving your endurance, aerobic capacity, strength, speed, power, any of that stuff. You just like to go to the gym for the sake of going to the gym and working out. Well, in that case, what you should do is whatever activities you enjoy the least, you want to do those first in your program. And whatever exercises you enjoy the most, you want to put those at the end of your program. Why exactly does that matter? Well, think about it. When you are at the gym, if you're really, really tired and you put the exercises that you hate toward the end, you're going to be much more likely to just skip those exercises because you don't want to do them anymore. Whereas if you put them at the beginning of your program, then you get them out of the way nice and early, and then toward the end of your program, you have all the exercises that you get to look forward to, all the ones that you really enjoy. So it's going to make your weight training session more enjoyable. Now, let's say you are an athlete or you are just somebody that enjoys doing specific activities like track and field. Well, if you are doing track and field, let's say you are getting ready for a 100-meter sprint. In that instance, it would be wise to do a cardio session prior to your 100-meter sprint because, again, the purpose of the warm-up, one of the things is you want it to be task specific. When you are doing sprinting, that is a gait pattern. Gait is the act of walking. And with regard to gait, walking, running, sprinting, all of those are going to be the gait pattern. So by doing a run prior to doing your 100-meter sprint, it is very task specific, and it is a great way to warm up your body and prime your body for that 100-meter sprint that you are about to do. Now, in terms of how exactly this would look, if you are going to be warming up prior to your sprint, something that you could do is go for a 2-3 minute walk, nice and light, and then gradually ramp up the intensity. You could go for a light walk, then eventually build yourself up to you're going to a jog, then get into a run, and then you're going to be nice and warmed up and you're going to be able to do your 100-meter sprint. One of the reasons why you want to do it that way is the same with regard to when I brought up the point of weight training, how you want to do some warm-up sets first. So doing 40%, then 60, and then getting into your actual working sets. Well, the same rule applies when you are doing something like a 100-meter sprint. If you are doing something like a 100-meter sprint, that is a very high-intensity exercise. Now, most people, when they think of intense exercise, they think of it as their rating of perceived exertion. And the truth is, when we are talking about intensity in weight training terms or in general when it comes to program design, we are talking about percentage of your one repetition maximum. So 100% intensity means you are going all out 100%. And with regard to 100% intensity, you can only maintain that for a split second. It's not something that you could do for a long period of time. So something like a 100-meter sprint is going to be 100% intensity because you are going all out 100% as fast as you can for 10 to 15 seconds, and then that's it. You're taking a nice long rest. Whereas a lot of people would take a look at something like a marathon and they would interpret that as being very intense. But the truth is, a marathon is not intense at all because you can do a marathon for hours. And any activity that you can do continuously for hours is not going to be that intense. Yes, it may be difficult for you and you may perceive it to be very hard, but what you perceive to be hard is very different from intensity in terms of weight training. With regard to a 100-meter sprint, there's no way that you would be able to maintain that speed for hours. You're only going to be able to maintain it for a short period of time. So by doing something like a walk, then a light jog, and then a run, that would be a great way to prepare your body for that 100-meter sprint. Those are just a couple of examples of when it would be appropriate to do your cardio prior to your weight training or your workout session. But at the end of the day, consistency is going to be the most important factor when it comes to your workout, because at the end of the day, if you are consistent, you're going to see good results. And the best way to be consistent is to do things that you enjoy. So if you enjoy doing your cardio prior to your weight training, no, it may not be as effective as doing it after, but if it gets you into the gym and it motivates you and it gets you to work out, then go ahead and do your cardio session before. But if it's your main objective to optimize your training results, then you would want to do it after. If you enjoy warming up with cardio, keep doing it. But if you think that you need to do it prior to your workout, you do not need to do it prior to your weight training session, and it could have a detrimental effect on your performance when you are doing your weight training. So if it's your main objective to improve your aerobic capacity, go ahead and do it before. If it's your main objective effective to improve your speed, strength, power, and also increase your muscle mass, then your weight training should come first, and you should finish off with your cardio session because your cardio is going to be much more effective at the end of your training session. But that's pretty much it for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to smash that like button so I know to make more of these types of videos in the future. And if you're either new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, as I will be uploading new videos every single day. That's it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you again tomorrow.